that came in, some of the revenues, almost $287 million in programs came to the 32nd Congressional District, but most of it went to Las Colinas, it went to Irving, it went to Grapevine, and very little came to our community. So when it comes to negotiating my vote, I'm going to negotiate with the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. I'm going to negotiate for vocational training programs and jobs programs and funding for our teachers and resources. I'm going to be the congressman that's going to say, I don't want to negotiate, you know, on this and that. I want to negotiate how much money we're going to bring back to our community that has been historically neglected for so many years. And so I think that, you know, to say that I'm going to be able to go there and write legislation, I'm not going to do that, but I'll use my influence to bring back the bacon here to the 33rd Congressional District. Litigation, I think I've been a litigant, not a litigant, but a catalyst for litigation on civil rights, Hispanic civil rights. In Farmers Branch, Tim O'Hare wanted to pass legislation. We said no, we organized and we sued there. There's very few African Americans in Farmers Branch. What affects the Hispanic community in Farmers Branch affects the African community there also. In the city of Irving, we sued you know, with the single member district through Manuel Benavides to get the political representation on the city council and political representation on the school board. And I did that as an activist, you know, with very little resources. If I were congressman, I'd put my energy, my resources, and my enthusiasm to continue litigation against unjust, unconstitutional, and immoral laws that affect all of us, Hispanic and Black. I think if you look at the maps, I think the maps, there was a lot of political tug-of-war going on. You had tug-of-wars going from Mark Beasley wanting to get his congressional district, then you had Domingo Garcia tug-of-warring so that he could get his congressional district. And the end result was you got the 33rd Congressional District, and both of them don't even live in the 33rd Congressional District, so they both lost. At least I can say I live in the 33rd Congressional District. I don't have to sell my home. And so come May 29, when you vote for me, you can come visit me at my home. I'm staying there. I'm not going anywhere. And I think the ultimate victor was myself. So thank you. My track record speaks for myself. You know, when kids were dying from cheese heroin, I went on national TV and said, I'm not going to let you guys, you drug dealers, kill our children. And I went out there, was very aggressive, very vocal, very forceful to save children. On the issue of Farmers Branch, I was a strong advocate against a very unconstitutional law. In the city of Irving, I've done the same thing. When our school board was misspending money and teachers were getting laid off, I was there fighting the fight. So my 6 years hasn't been making money. My 6 years is spending my money, the little money that I have, is to fight for my community. So I'm happy just paying my light bill and my gas bill and my mortgage and my little things and having some money for my children and continue to fight for my community. That's what God put me on this earth. I'm very blessed that I've been able to be a strong advocate, a strong activist, and I'm proud of what I've done. I'm going to continue to do that. My mom keeps on saying, you know what, when you talk about all these issues, remember that I have 4 grandchildren who are in Afghanistan and Iraq. And when they come back to the United States, they don't have the same benefits as someone from North Dallas or someone that makes a lot of money. I would create a health care insurance program like a Blue Cross Blue Shield for veterans so that they can go get medical services at Baylor or Presbyterian, some of the top-notch hospitals in America. Why should they go to the Veterans Administration and get inferior medical treatment? They defended our country. We need to defend them, and we need to get them top-notch, first-class, quality health care at zero cost. I think if we can spend $2 billion or $2 zillion in rebuilding Afghanistan and Iraq, we can spend that money to make sure that our veterans have the best quality health care in America, second to none. Good candidates running in the 30th Congressional District. I don't know if it's going to be Bernice Johnson who wins or Clayton or Mallory Caraway, but I'll work with any of them as long as they're committed to have transparency, committed to make sure that there's equality in terms of resources, make sure that they reach out to their communities, that they respect their constituents. Domingo lives in the 30th Congressional District. I was hoping he'd be one of those three candidates, but obviously he decided to run in our Congressional District. But, we gotta forgive him for that. So I think that I would work with any of the candidates that would win. I've worked with the black community many times. There's going to be a black African American congressman, and I'm going to work to create a regional job training, vocational training program, small access capital loan programs, infrastructures. What happens in South Dallas and Oak Cliff is also happening in Pleasant Grove. I think the issues are the same, and I think we have to work together, and I'm going to do that.
Well, I'm excited to
when you talk about street money, you also have to talk about dynasty politics. Mm-hmm. And dynasty politics means that in the 33rd Congressional District, which is my district and it's your district, we've had the same families over and over, regurgitated political leadership that has bottlenecked our community. You have the Salazars, and you have the Alonzos, and you have the Garcias. They've been the county commissioners, the state representatives, the city council members. They've been members on the park board. They've got their wives on this board and on that board and this board. So when you talk about street money, you also got to talk about dynasty politics, and I'm against that. I think that we need a new change, a new vision, a new direction. We need to empower young people. If I don't win, at least I'm breaking that bottle, that dynasty politics, so maybe one day you'll be able to run, or she'll be able to run, and we won't have dynasty politics, but we'll have people politics that will defend the future, the integrity, and the well-being of our community, and that's what I'm running for.
Well, I wasn't even invited to the event, so I had to read about it in the newspaper, so there's not much I can say about it other than that.
Let me just say that, to make the record perfectly clear, we did not provide any street money. We had members and supporters who showed up to a meeting who said that if they paid their membership that night, they would be able to vote. Some of them paid it out of their pocket. Some we did provide the funds for, but only for the membership. Other campaigns had street money, but it was not us. But the problem is not the street money. The problem is the suite money. It's the money that comes from the suites from Wall Street. It's the suites at the ballpark, at the Cowboys. That's the problem. That suite money, the big money, how is a person who only makes $15,000 a year running for Congress? Who's bankrolling them? And why are they bankrolling them? That is the question. And it's the sweet money that corrupts the system. It's the sweet money that's bringing America down and it's creating gridlock down in Washington. And that's what we should be pissed off about.
Well, I was there for the meeting. Domingo and I were both there, and I think it's been reported in the local newspaper, the Dallas Morning News, that I was asked that our campaign absolutely had nothing to do with the street money. That it was Domingo's campaign that was all involved with the street money. People that want to vote in clubs should be members of the clubs for a long time. There were several people that came in that had no idea what the Texas Coalition of Black Democrats were all about. Had no idea about the missions and the goals of the statement, and the young people that worked very hard in order to bring that organization back to life, because Texas Coalition had become a defunct organization. It should be more respected than that. So, in my opinion, it has nothing to do with this race, and I hope that that we won't see anything like that again. It was a very interesting experience.
A plus. Because I've already been fighting on education. When Michael Hinojosa and I think we marched together, I was a Hispanic saying we need to get rid of Michael Hinojosa. Yeah. I went knocking on his door, protesting at his home, saying, you know what, shame, shame, shame on you for spending $37 million on P cards, and shame, shame, shame on you for basically misspending $289 million. And when I was protesting, I didn't see Domingo or Steve Salazar out there. I didn't see anybody out there fighting for education. I was out there. And so I think that I'm going to make sure that we have great education for our children, that they're motivated, that they're inspired, that teachers feel welcome and appreciated, that we have the money to build good schools. And that's going to be me. So it's A plus. Plus I have parents, I have children that are in the school district in Dallas Independent School District.
Oh.
We've been
Just housekeeping.
we've been
That's how we
scoping it out.
good. We're good. We're six.
We're in the neighborhood.